Welcome to Spectrum News at 4, coming to you live from Oyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the top stories. Federal government drags Showore, Facebook, X to court over post against Tinubu. Court grants Emefiele's request for forensic experts over $4.5 billion fraud. Plus, China urges U.S., Japan to withdraw Typhon missile system. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in just a moment. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on the news at 4. We begin the news at this hour from the national scene, where the federal government today filed a 5-count charge against Omoyele Sowore, an activist and former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress (AAC), for calling President Bola Tinubu a criminal in a post he shared on social media platforms. Federal government in the charge it entered before the Federal High Court in Abuja through the Director of Public Prosecutions, Federal Ministry of Justice, MB Abubakar, maintained that Sowore, by the false accusation, committed offences contrary to and punishable under Section 24, subsection 1B of the Cybercrimes Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Amendment Act 2024, as well as sections 59 and 375 of the Criminal Code Act. Equally cited as the second and third defendants in the charge are the two social media platforms where the post was shared: X Incorporated, formerly Twitter, and Meta Incorporated, Facebook. Showore's contentious post on August 25 came after President Tinubu, while on an official visit in Brazil, claimed that his administration had successfully ended corruption in Nigeria. It appeared the charge federal government filed today followed the refusal of both Sowore and the social media platforms to accede to the request by the DSS. In another development, the special advisor to the president on economic matters, Dr. Fashoa, has assured Nigerians that the inflation rate is heading towards a single digit, which according to him will translate to a better living conditions for the masses. Fashoa gave the assurance in a live broadcast today. According to him, the drop in the inflation rate has impacted on prices of food items, which are beginning to ease. The presidency's assurance followed headline inflation data just released by the National Bureau of Statistics. The NBS said the inflation rate is to 20.12% in August 2025 compared to the July 2025 rate, which stood at 21.88%. From the judiciary, the Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja has granted former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele permission to engage forensic experts to examine WhatsApp conversations and a mobile device tendered as evidence in his ongoing $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud trial. Justice Raman Oshodi gave the ruling after Emefiele's led counsel Olalekon Ojo, SAN, applied for leave to allow an independent forensic expert to inspect the handset and verify the authenticity of the extracted WhatsApp messages already admitted as exhibits. Emefiele, alongside his co-defendant Henry Omoyele, is standing trial on 19 counts bordering on abuse of office, receiving gratification, corruption, and fraudulent property transactions involving $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud trial. The charges were brought against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Away from that, the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions, NASU, have given the federal government a 7-day strike notice over unresolved issues affecting non-academic staff in universities. The two unions, in a letter, frowned at what they termed unjust disbursement of earned allowances to university staff and non-payment of outstanding allowances and other unresolved issues. The letter signed by the President of SANU, Mohammed Ibrahim, and General Secretary of NASU, Peter Zadeyemi, reminded the Ministry of Education, Tunji Alausa, of a June 18, 2025 letter from the Joint Action Committee, JAC, of NASU and SANU. The letter emphasized the urgent need for intervention in outstanding labor matters affecting their members. The unions maintain they are compelled to serve a formal notice of 7 days effective from yesterday for the federal government to address their agitations, failing which members would embark on a series of legitimate industrial actions, including strikes, to press home their demands. In a separate development, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has urged President Bola Tinubu to direct the Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo and the Controller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS) Kemi Nandap to immediately reverse the recent hike in international passport fees. SERAP described arbitrary, unlawful, unjustified and excessive passport fees of between 100,000 naira and 20,000 naira. Recall that the NIS last week announced that from September 1, 2025, applications made within Nigeria will attract new fees of 100,000 naira for the 32-page 5-year validity passport and 200,000 naira for the 64-page 10-year validity passport. The organization noted that the unreasonable price increase came barely a year after a similar increase on September 1, 2024. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has inaugurated the 4th cohort of the Entrepreneurship Accelerator Program (EAP) as part of his administration's commitment to nurturing new business leaders and entrepreneurial development through the Arise agenda. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony at the Ibom-led complex in Uyo, the state capital, Governor urged participants to approach the 10-week training with discipline, passion, and commitment. He disclosed that government would provide each trainee with the sum of 500,000 naira grant as a foundation for their business journey and urged them to deploy the funds wisely. He urged the beneficiaries to take their destinies in their hands, cognizant of the fact that it is not the amount that matters, but the passion to succeed. Earlier in his opening remarks, Imeuwa, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Entrepreneurial Development and Director General of Ibom-led, disclosed that the program has trained 1,200 entrepreneurs to date, with 500 more to benefit in the current cohort. Owa further explained that Ibom-led actively monitors and evaluates businesses after training to ensure long-term sustainability and impact. Speaking about the formation of the Akwa Ibom Entrepreneurs Association, Owa stated that the body will galvanize the state's business community and align with the governor's entrepreneurial vision. In their goodwill messages, Pastor Imoabasi Jacob, team leader of Ibom-led and managing director of the Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation, Akicorp, and Professor Enoide Musoro, rector of DASAC, praised the transformation of the once neglected Ibom e-library into a vibrant hub for entrepreneurial training. They noted that the center is shaping modern business mindsets and equipping participants to compete globally with support from an active alumni network. Meanwhile, Governor, while inaugurating the association, expressed delight that the association is being led by entrepreneurs and announced a 10 million naira support grant for the body. Government House correspondent Jane Wa reported that the governor, however, challenged the association to register at least 10,000 business owners to enhance mentorship, promote entrepreneurship, and elevate the dignity of labor in Akwa Ibom State. In the meantime, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and its coalition partners have officially unveiled the Akwa Ibom State ADC and Coalition chapter with the theme, Reclaiming Democracy and Empowering the People. The event, which took place in Uyo, brought together party leaders, grassroots mobilizers, stakeholders, and supporters across the state. Esther Otoyo, who was present, completes the report.
Would focus on that the party seeks to build a movement of inclusion, transparency, and accountability, where democracy is a right and responsibility of every citizen, with strong institutions, fair economy, and open opportunities to all.
Let me assure you today, ADC has come to stay. We are not here to complain. We are here to lead. That is why we have formed a coalition, an alliance of like-minded patriots, determined to rescue our state and our nation. Together with our coalition leaders and partners, we have prepared clear roadmaps to usher in government that is correct, acceptable, and people-oriented. Every kobo of public funds, our money, will be used for the people. No more stolen billions. No more abandoned projects. ADC will invest in industries, technologies, agriculture, and skills acquisition to give young people opportunities.
The coalition leader of ADC, Akwa Ibom State, and former Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as former Minister of State for FCT, John Akpan Udoedege, encouraged stakeholders and supporters to jointly build a strong party with love and unity. Udoedege also urged them to support each other and people saddled with responsibility to lead in different capacity in the party, setting aside differences and embracing love.
Love this party, love the person who is a member of this party. Come together. We will win with your support. We will win with your support. We have a lot of people coming to this party. Therefore, when we come together, there is a purpose of insecurity. That's number one purpose. There's the purpose of poverty. The purpose of a wide range of inequality and unemployment. That's why the coalition come together to tackle those things.
Representatives of the national leadership of ADC were present to lend their support, urging party faithful to work towards building a strong people-oriented movement in the state. They stressed that the coalition would focus on transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance, promising to empower communities through education, economic opportunities, and youth participation.
We are expecting to see a united front. United in the sense that it's not just all about ADC. We are saying the people versus APC-led government. That's what you're going to see. The people are tired of poverty. The people are tired of unemployment. The people are tired of bad governance. So we're giving them a platform where everybody is carried along.
ADC is the party of the people. Like if we start from looking at the logo of ADC, you see you have parties in Nigeria that are represented by an umbrella. An umbrella is a man-made thing. Your party is represented by broom, so you need to get a broom to show as a symbol of the party. You need to get an umbrella to show as a symbol of the party. You need to get a cockerel to show as a symbol of the party. But in ADC, you don't need to buy anything. You need to stretch forth your hand to another person and you have agreement. That means we are naturally disposed to work together and get success. ADC is actually the party of the people.
The coalition is mostly a call for everyone to come together, put in their synergy. So I'm reaching out to every woman from any walk of life to be able to come together. Let us work for the change. In ADC, we are telling you, come in and let us put our foot together. Our voices matter, especially when women stand to put a choice on something. Let's also make sure that we, through that joint force, we'll be able to bring in a good leader that will have empathy for especially women and our children.
Do well to mobilize in your unit, mobilize in your ward, talk to the people about ADC. This is the new way to go, and this is not the old order.
The ceremony had in attendance the National Vice Chairman Diaspora South-South Augustine Ekanam, Assistant National Organizing Secretary South-South Dr. Ben Smith, the 2023 governorship candidate Labour Party Akwa Ibom State Dr. Udwarobong Udo, and the 2023 governorship candidate of Action Alliance Akwa Ibom State Jerry Akpan, among other dignitaries. High point of the event was the symbolic hoisting of the ADC and coalition flag, signifying the official commencement of the party's activities in Akwa Ibom State. Esther Otoyo, Spectrum News.
Now to Africa, where Malawians are currently voting in presidential and parliamentary elections, following a turbulent 5 years that has seen the economic crisis worsening in the southern African nation. President Lazarus Chakwera is vying for a second term, contesting against his main rival, Peter Mutharika, an octogenarian who has previously been in office. Reports say campaigning has been overshadowed in the cities by fuel shortages, which have led to long, frustrating queues at petrol stations. The rising cost of living has also been a major concern of voters. A presidential runoff will be held if no candidate gets more than 50% of the vote cast in today's election. On the foreign scene, Israel has launched a major ground offensive in Gaza City. Palestinians and other residents fleeing their homes describe the attacks as hell as Israeli warplanes carried out a wave of heavy airstrikes. The Israeli military said the city is the main stronghold of Hamas at the moment, as it confirms a gradual movement into the strip's largest urban area. Still on the foreign scene, China urged Tokyo and Washington today to withdraw the U.S.-developed Typhon missile system after it was unveiled in Japan for the first time during joint military exercises. According to Tokyo's Defense Ministry on X, Japan and the United States began the Resolute Dragon military drills on Thursday, and they will last until September 25. Japan's self-defense forces confirmed to reporters that the missile system had been showcased for the first time in the country over the course of the exercise, though it said the weapon would not be fired. Meanwhile, Beijing's foreign ministry on Tuesday called on the United States and Japan to promptly withdraw the missile system. Still to come in the news. Serbia-Albania World Cup qualifier moved over security clearance. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in a jiffy. thank you for sticking with us. Now we conclude the rest of our news stories. On our business news, the federal government has suspended the implementation of the 4% free on-board levy recently introduced by the Nigeria Customs Service on all imported goods. The decision, announced by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, followed widespread concerns from importers, trade experts, and other industry stakeholders about the levy's negative economic implications. In a letter addressed to the Controller General of Customs, Edun, acting in his capacity as chairman of the NCS board, ordered the immediate suspension of the levy. The letter, signed by the Permanent Secretary for Special Duties in the Ministry of Finance, Raymond Omachi, explained that extensive consultations had been held with stakeholders and experts whose feedback showed that the levy would place a significant strain on trade and the economy. We move over to health now. Cardiologists have warned that Nigeria and Africa are facing a growing epidemic of cardiovascular diseases, with new data showing that about 4 in 10 Nigerian adults are hypertensive. They stress that Africa has the fastest rising rate of cardiovascular diseases in the world, citing lifestyle changes, rising obesity, poor exercise habits, and weak public health systems as factors fueling the crisis. The warning comes ahead of the Nigerian Cardiac Society's 54th Annual General Meeting and Scientific Conference in Abuja. The experts who describe cardiovascular diseases in Nigeria as alarming stress that urgent action is needed to prevent the growing burden. We move over to sports, where former Chelsea and Manchester United midfielder Juan Mata has signed for Australian side Melbourne Victory. The 37-year-old, who was part of Spain's 2010 World Cup winning squad, has been moved from Belgrade to a smaller southern city over security fears. UEFA approved Serbia's request to relocate the October 11 match away from the capital to Leskovac with Albania's consent. The FSS referred to a 2014 match when a drone carrying a flag promoting a Greater Albania flew over the pitch, triggering angry fans to run onto the field and cancelling the game. The flag depicted an expanded Albanian state that included Kosovo, a province that included Kosovo, a province that declared independence from Serbia into Belgrade does not recognize. On our entertainment news, former Big Brother Niger reality star and media personality Tacha has slammed content creators for constant content creators of hypocrisy, stressing that they are making it seem as if Lagos is the only state in the country, and challenged them to post hybrid Ushie Ugwamaye, also known as Raye, popular influencer Scotty Guma, and comedian Acapella, recently sparked controversies after claiming that Lagos State smells. Lagos State Commissioner of Environment and Water Resources Tokumbo Wahab swiftly debunked the claims, alleging that some individuals are deliberately trying to tarnish the image of the state. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Thank you so much for watching. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. My name remains Ofonamo Joseph. Enjoy the rest of your day.